welcome to this week's edition of Side Splitters. My name is Lyle,
And my name is Andy.
and our goal tonight is to leave you in stitches.
Speaking of which, so I have to address the elephant in the room here. We just had one of the biggest gatherings of nerdgasms on this side of the entire planet Earth at San Diego Comic-Con this past weekend. Is there anything out of the expo that you enjoyed?
My God. I don't want to see how this is going to leave me in stitches.
Look, I'm just saying that a penis can only get so erect when you have tons of half-naked women cosplaying as your favorite anime handjob. Like, it just... Oh, body socks. Whoever invented the body sock is like my personal hero, and I'd only wish I had done it sooner.
Wow. Yeah, it certainly wasn't cosplaying. I don't have anything wrong with the idea of cosplay. To answer your question, did anything come out of the San Diego Comic Con that I enjoyed? I don't have anything against cosplaying. If you're into it and you enjoy it, go for it. But it doesn't really do much for me. Like the whole idea of like people dressing up. Look, sometimes people nail it. Sometimes I'm just really impressed, and that's cool. And I hate to belittle the people that don't have the money to put into the effort or to put into the art that they want to. But sometimes they just it works that way when you put the amount of money that certain people do. And what I'm getting at here is I don't really care for subpar things. Okay.
So wait. When faced with something being completely perfect or just complete garbage, you don't like the concept of the subject entirely because it has potential to be pure garbage. It's either the best it can be or nothing at all.
I mean, that's probably the most elitist way of looking at it, and I would say still fairly accurate.
I'd say you can't say that I'm wrong on this.
Well, I mean, it's just okay. So look, if it gives reason, if it gives people a reason to dress up on days other than just Halloween, go for it. But personally, if I'm wearing a costume, I have to be somewhat inebriated. That's just me. I mean, look, if it works for you, fine. I'm not I'm not against it. It's just, it is what it is. It's just I'll never be
I mean,
down.
you've worn costumes before. I've seen it.
Right, and I was always inebriated.
Huh. Yeah,
Or
no, I
or
never I never
or
actually gave you a breathalyzer for being an X-Man. So yeah, no, you totally
oh
got me there.
God, are you kidding me? I was definitely inebriated that night. For those that don't know, there was a Halloween party one night that me and Andy both partook in, and a group of us, Andy was not included, a group of us went as the X-Men, or at least members of the X-Men. Myself, I was playing Beast. I was going as Beast that day, and I can't be Beast unless I'm blue. So out came some sort of, I think it was like, I don't know if it was like body spray paint or it may have just been hair spray paint that I just decided to put all over my body. I was blue from head to toe. It was a fun time. The
Yeah, but
fun
that was a fun shower when you were done.
Well, here's the funny part. I got blackout drunk, and the next day when I woke up and started figuring out where I was, I actually had clues to find out where I was because you just walk around the house and any spot that was blue, it was like I was there.
Actually,
So
that's a pretty good system. I have to
yeah,
remember that.
it was marvelous. It was just like I woke up from the couch and I seen the pillow was blue and I was already there, so I knew I was there. And then I, got up and started stumbling towards the bathroom, and I seen in the bathroom the exact handprint where my hand was prior to me putting my hand there was blue. So I was like, I've been here before. This is a good sign. I wasn't just taken here in the middle of the night and now I have to use the bathroom. I was obviously in this bathroom before. This is good. Yeah, it was
Little clues of the past.
exactly. It was fun. Uh, but no. So my favorite thing to come out of San Diego Comic Con to try to get back on track here.
How
Well,
dare you?
I got to be honest with you. It's hard to say. Um, Suicide Squad trailer looked good. Uh, that's about it for the DC movies.
Yeah, well, for a movie that's coming out in 2 weeks anyway, like we've been trailered and you know publicly propagandaed for weeks, if not months at this point. Like
Yeah,
but
but
did
you
we
know what?
really need another trailer 2 weeks before release?
Well, I think we did, and here's why. Because A, it can be taken easily as the release trailer. I'm sure they'll make another trailer that is the release trailer. But B, all the trailers prior to that were always kind of comical or at least playful. This one was slowed down a bit and took a little bit more of a serious tone, and I appreciated that. So it was just like, this movie is not just one big laughing joke. There is actual serious overtones to it, and it's going to be a fun action movie. Is what I took from it. It's not just going to be a comedy; it's going to be a fun action movie. So that I kind of appreciated out of this trailer.
Well, I mean, when your roster is Captain Boomerang, Killer Croc, Diablo, and Harley Quinn, I kind of expect it to be more humorous than actiony.
Well, yeah, and it definitely is. You see that, but they also have Deadshot, and he was never exactly the most humorous thing in the world. Um, Joker,
He's
obviously,
played by Will Smith
right? And when was the last time Will Smith was funny?
when he was the Prince of Freshness.
So, yeah, I mean that's all good and fine. Like I said, you have the Joker in it, which I mean, obviously, he's going to be funny, or at least seem funny to himself. He's the Joker. The Joker. It's going to be joking. But anyway, but look, I don't have a problem with it being funny. I've never meant for it to come across that way. I'm just saying it's nice to see that there are some serious overtones involved. So it
It's
can,
it's a multifaceted movie.
yes, and now I get that watching this latest trailer. Anyway, that's enough on Suicide Squad. It looks
Fair
great.
enough.
Can't wait for it. Um, but the other things that I'll tell you what really got me excited: the Luke Cage trailer for the Netflix series. That thing looks fascinating. Yeah, that looked really good.
Hmm. Yeah, I did agree that it did look good. Because it's funny how like Marvel's like C and D listers are getting better TV shows, on Netflix than a lot of A guys on DC side, which for me is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, same here. And I'll tell you one other thing Marvel did that kind of piqued my interest a little bit, just a little bit, which they're definitely playing the right cards by announcing the fact that Ghost Rider is going to be in Agents of Shield. It gives me hope for the future of the character, and it also makes me think, do I want to go back and watch all the way from the beginning, because I've never seen any of Agents of Shield, just so I can see Ghost
I
Rider.
never bothered with it either.
Right, just so I can see Ghost Rider portrayed on the, hopefully right plateau of things. Like, not the Nicolas Cage version, but, maybe Ghost Rider will be done justice this time, which is funny enough to say, considering his character, but,
Yeah, seriously.
yeah, so that's one thing I would be interested in. I'm kind of contemplating whether or not I want to go back and watch all of it, just so I can understand what's going on in Ghost Rider season.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might be one of those things I might just pick up at the Ghost Rider season because I mean, honestly, like any key points that are going on in the background, I kind of picked up on the MCU movies anyway. And I tell a lie, I did see the pilot for Agents of Shield. I wasn't too impressed with it, but I heard it got much better after the first season. So, I mean, I don't know. I may give it a shot, but it's not high on my priority list for sure.
Yeah,
Um, did you did you read up on anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy second movie? Because I know there was one little thing that they gave that I'm curious to hear your opinion on.
I have not. I literally just sat there on I went on some article regarding San Diego Comic Con, and they pretty much listed exactly everything that was shown in terms of trailers and announcements and what have you like that. I did not see anything for Guardians 2.
Okay, so um, they released who Peter Quill's father is. So spoilers for anybody that doesn't want to hear it. But you want to take a guess at which Marvel character they're making Star Lord's father?
Huh. I would. My shot in the dark would be Tony Stark.
No, yeah, that is a way shot in the dark. Um, no, it is a cosmic being.
Is it Thanos?
No, no, no. Thankfully not either. Man, he would be. Although, I could see him being purple. That could be hot.
Right. Jesus. So, yeah, who is that? I give up.
All right, so Ego the Living Planet.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
To
So,
which I'm like, how does a planet fuck a
yeah.
woman? Like, I don't. Yeah, I guess who he's
uh,
played by.
well, it's a really big head, so Kim Kardashian.
Wrong body part. Um, it is. It is actually played by Kurt Russell.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's good. Okay. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like, why? Hold on. I know, like, if anything else, I would love to see like the eternal, like, Pac-Man chase that is Galactus hungering after Ego, the living planet. Like, that would be fun to me to see on screen, but to have him be like Star-Lord's dad in this movie, I'm like, what? Like, oh, hey dad, I'm just in orbit around, your backside, dark side of my father. But I'm gonna drop your present off back here, see if you can reach it.
Here's the question: are they going to actually portray him in his? Are they going to give Ego justice? Or, I mean, I know it wasn't Marvel Studios, but the Fantastic Four movie, the second one at least, Rise of the Silver Surfer, they showed Galactus as a cloud. Is that going to be something that might happen with Ego, whereas he's just not a giant planet?
Um, well, they still call him Ego the Living Planet, but he has a humanoid costume. Like they showed Kurt Russell's costume, which
Huh.
I'm like, yeah, like, huh? Because I don't recall Ego ever having like a bipedal humanoid form,
Mm-mm.
but I could be wrong. There's a good chunk of comics I missed out on.
Sure, same. Yeah, that's interesting.
Uh, yeah. So I still don't know who the hell Sylvester Stallone's supposed to play, but he's in it.
Stallone's and Guardians.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I mean, the only thing I could think of is that if he could probably play like uh, a Herald of Galactus, like Terrax, just because he's used to playing somebody that you know is Rocky. But beyond that, I have no clue.
Yeah, that's. Well, I certainly don't want to sit here and try to contemplate that, so we'll be here all night.
Fair
Um,
enough. Yeah.
right.
So
So we
wait,
have. Go ahead.
Suicide Squad was the only thing decent out of the DC thing. You didn't appreciate the Wonder Woman trailer?
No,
Not at all.
no.
You, sir, have no music in your soul.
I'll tell you what I have. I have this taste for a company trying to play catch up by repeating what was already done. So you're taking a hero, in this case heroine, who was alive and very much a hero in the past, and
Hmm.
fighting in one of the old wars. It looks like it may be World War One, simply because there was no Nazi paraphernalia around. So I'm assuming it wasn't World War Two. It may not have been any of the actual wars, just perhaps that time. But the point I'm making here is this is Captain America all over again. She even had a shield.
Yeah, I can see where you're drawing those similarities. Look, I'm just happy that there's a Wonder Woman movie to begin with because it's been in like pretty much production hell for I don't even know how long. Um, Freaking Joss Whedon. Um, but it still looks good. I love the actress that's playing Wonder Woman. I find it, actually refreshing that they got a Mediterranean actress to play a Mediterranean character.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I'm not a huge like, I am not a conspiracy theorist with whitewashing. Like, I don't care if you have a good person for the job, you can have that person for the job. It's just that like so many people are so used to having seen a white bread Wonder Woman that they don't really recall that her origins are in like Greek, Mediterranean kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So that's actually refreshing that they got that part right. She's badass. She looks good doing it. I love the costume. Um, Plenty of action sequences, and I appreciate a strong female lead. And the one thing that I don't appreciate, though, which is something that a lot of companies in media in general, whether it be video games, whether it be television or movies or anything like that, they always feel like they have to pat themselves on the back and advertise that, hey, we have a strong female lead that don't need no man. And I'm like,
Hmm.
really? Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, whatever happened to a story just being a story? And then you can make your own assumptions later on whether or not you liked it for one point or another, but I don't want to have them to beat the politically correct points they're trying to make into my face before I even watch the damn thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That is one thing I also picked up on the trailer. Just the whole, yeah, I don't have a father. I don't even know what a father is. Like, dude, really? Just tone it down a bit, okay? We get it. You don't have a dad. All right. We get it. You're unfamiliar to the concept of having a boyfriend. And then the one line where she didn't know what a secretary was. So, what's a secretary? Oh, I pretty much do everything for him. Well, we call those slaves back on my planet. Oh, so now you're trying to free the world of secretaries? Get over yourself. Like, like I didn't like it. It's just there was so many parts that I didn't like about the Wonder Woman movie trailer. One thing I would say her costume looked pretty cool though. I like the whole modernized version of it, how it's pretty much all like armor looking now. She did have some ridiculous high shin guards, which I found kind of funny because I'm looking at that and I'm just like, so let me get something straight. When the PC police come after you and they're just like, oh, well, we can't make fun of you because you have a strong female lead. She don't need no man. She's trying to free the oppression. She's trying to stop the oppression that is our men, you know, belittling the women that are already here. But she's half naked. No, no, she's not. Her shins are covered. Check them out. Those are completely covered shins. She is not naked. Like that's what I took from that.
That's actually kind of why I like the one, the Game of Thrones character, Brienne of Tarth, because she's a woman in full body armor, like because it's practical to be a knight in full body armor.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you're gonna go into a combat situation, you should have as much coverage as humanly possible.
Yeah, I actually don't watch Game of Thrones, but if I've seen this character, I'm sure I would agree.
Yeah, well, it's the same woman that played Captain Phasma, so I mean, that was another thing that you kind of knew Phasma was a chick. Well, I honestly did not find out Phasma was a chick in Star Wars until like when the movie released. Because I heard that actress was a part of the movie, but I didn't know who they were playing. And then when they're like, oh, she's playing Phasma, I was like, wait, Phasma's a chick?
You're gonna make me drop this bombshell in episode 2, huh? All right, I'll bite. Andy, I've never seen any Star Wars movies before.
Got him. So I don't know what rock that you erected your futon of slothiness under, but why in the world, out of because I know you embrace geek culture to a certain extent,
Absolutely.
um, why hasn't Star Wars found its way into your flabby heart of love?
Yes, the adjectives. I'll tell you why. It's because of people like you, and I don't mean that in any way, shape, or form. I don't mean that to be
I'm sorry.
insulting at all. It's not insulting. What it is I have you. I have a lot of friends that have very similar tastes than you. Like you, all that stuff. Like all of our friends like Star Wars to some degree. Some much more than others, but to some degree, all of our friends like Star Wars. Hanging out with this friend group for the last however many years it's been, I never need to watch a single Star Wars movie in my life. Like I know what happens. I see what happens just from the stories. You guys talk about it vividly enough. I can piece everything together. I got it all. Like it's all there for me. The only thing that was different was the new Star Wars. And I was thinking to myself like, am I gonna actually want to watch this one? Nah, I'm gonna keep up the tradition and just never see a single Star Wars movie. So the day it came out, I think it was actually a day or two before it came out, I was on the internet searching spoilers. I wanted to know everything that happened before you guys did. Just so for that little bit of time, I can say that I knew Star Wars trivia. You guys did not. And I was successful. Granted, I would never, never spoil that information for you guys, but it was fun. A little fun thing that I had for myself in my head. It was fun.
Spiteful jackass.
No, I mean it wasn't spitefulness because it's just it never really did it for me. The whole science fiction only goes so far for me, and it's really weird. I love good science fiction, but good science fiction to me is different from good science fiction to others. For example, Love superhero movies. I love the superhero genre. I love the superhero comic books. I also love other comic books. The Walking Dead. I was at one point a huge fan. I used to watch every week. I haven't seen any of last season. I used to read the comics, the whole nine.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, it kind of slowed down for me, and I don't know if it's necessarily the show or just the fact that I'd actually have to watch a television show. I'm not sure which of the two it is, but point of the matter is, I just haven't really kept up on it. But what I'm getting at here is I do find some science fiction interesting. To me, Star Wars is only the concept itself is interesting. Certainly, I do like sci-fi in a galactic realm every once in a while. The whole space battles, all that stuff is fine. But like I said, I just never really found a need to get into it, and just it just never took for me. I'll tell you one thing, one other thing that never took for me, and will never take for me, and I don't even have an interest in learning anything about it. Lord of the Rings. I love me some American or even Japanese role playing video games set in medieval times, wizards, hobbits, what have you, warriors, rogues, thieves, all that stuff. I love that setting in video games. As soon as you bring that onto the big screen, I am checking out immediately. I just find no interest in it. I wasn't really a fan of the Harry
Really.
Potter movies. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the Harry Potter movies. I checked some of. Oh, actually, I've seen them all at this point. They were okay, but nothing that I was just like, now I have to read the books. No, it was. I seen the movies once. I was done. It was enjoyable for the time. Uh, Lord of the Rings, I find, is one of the worst movie franchises in existence. It was
Ah,
so
ah,
boring.
oh, you stabbed me right in my heart. How could you, Lyle?
One of the worst. It was just one of the most boring experiences I've ever
He's
had.
the originator.
Originator of what?
Fantasy. Like Tolkien's Lord of the Rings is the originator of fantasy. That's where
Look,
Dungeons and Dragons came from.
look, you purist heathen. Tolkien's books were the originators. Had I have read his books, maybe I might have had a different opinion. But I didn't. I didn't read his books because of reasons. Actually, I do like fantasy every once in a while in books. So I really had no reason not to read it. I just never got around to them. Once the movies came out, I checked them out, and then I checked out because it was terrible to me. Um, and it's just I don't know what it is, and that wasn't the only movie to fare that way. There's not many, but any movies that I really go to watch that are in that realm of things, just the whole fantasy and hobbits and all this, that, and the third, and go to a local pub and drink some meat. No, I don't want it. Give it to me in video game and literature. That's it, not film. I don't know why.
So what you're telling me is you don't watch a lot of movies.
I mean, I watch movies. I just, not medieval shit. Not into it. Not, you know what? That's not even a fair assessment because I love 300, and I would say that's somewhat medieval. The whole Spartan army and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
sure. I mean, that's probably about as medieval as you're gonna get.
yeah, I guess it's just the fantasy realm of things, the whole wizards and warriors and all that. Like I said, give it to me in video game form, give it to me in literature form. I'm okay with it. As soon as you put it in, I think the problem is it's, and this is going to be weird because I think the problem with Lord of the Rings is it's so incredibly slow paced. I can't stand it. But I think my problem with fantasy
Oh,
movies,
walking.
right, exactly. My problem with fantasy movies is they are too fast paced. Because for me to enjoy fantasy, I'd like to take it a step back. I'd like to appreciate every single detail that's going on because most of the time there are some fantastic creatures sitting in the background or like some weird bug that you'll never imagine in your lifetime flying around the character that's speaking's head. And the character himself that is speaking can conjure up some of the most you know profound words ever spoken to man, only to say like "How are you doing?" to the nearby stranger that he's never met at the next town. That kind of stuff is cool to me, but I like to slowly appreciate it. It's a sipping wine. It's not a guzzling beer. It's
So you're telling me you're autistic? Fine, that's good. Now it all makes sense.
this episode has been brought to you by folks. Autism Speaks. Please support any kind of Yeah. Thank you for
Yeah.
making fun of autistic people. My wife is only someone that takes care of autistic people, so by all means, make fun of them away. Oh, she's gonna hate us for this.
No, no, no. See, I wasn't making fun of autistic people unless you consider yourself an insult because I'm just labeling you as being autistic.
Based on my movie preferences, though.
Yes, no, entirely based on your movie preferences. I didn't say I was correct in my assessment. I just said it was mine to have, and you fit the bill.
Well, anyway, my point of the matter is, I don't know who this woman from Star Wars is, so please continue.
Man, we went all the way, like, we rode a train to freaking Arkansas, and then we remembered we had to pick something up back in Delaware. Shit. Um, oh my God.
Female lead,
Yeah,
women,
no.
all that nonsense.
Female lead, right, right. So, hold on. When you think of a female lead in a movie, who's your top bill? Like, top, like, when you watched a movie, this was the female that was like, hey, she did a really good job, and I could get really behind her character.
Okay. Now, are we speaking in terms of an actress? So, for example, if the actress did a really good job as one female lead, but not the best job as another, do we automatically discredit that, or is that one female lead enough?
No, I mean character.
Character.
Actress doesn't matter.
Okay, I honestly, and flame all you want for this, but I feel Katniss from the Hunger Games did a great job as a female lead.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, it has everything that I.
Hold on. Because I gotta lean back in my chair for this one. I want to hear all about it. Go for it.
Yes, Katniss Everdeen was much better than Legolas will ever fucking be. That's right.
Ah, ah. Oh,
So
you're speaking your terrible mouth poison at me. What is this garbage?
here's my thing. Uh, you know, Jennifer Lawrence did a good job. I mean, she portrayed the female lead without shoving down our throat that she was a female. She didn't shove down our throat sexy anything. She didn't shove down our throat that she needs a man in her life. If anything, she played to the idea of women needing men by saying, "Hey, if I act like I'm in love with this guy, I have a chance of winning this contest, which will save me and my family's life." So she used that as a strategy, sure. And trust me, by no means am I trying to say feminism, feminism, feminism. All I'm trying to say is I was able to enjoy that movie without feminism being on my brain at all, which is good to me. I shouldn't have to watch a movie and be reminded that I'm supposed to like a character because of their gender, race, or preferences in terms of, whatever. There's just no reason I should be uh, uh, forced to like a character based on their bias. It's just I should like it for liking it, not because of what they believe in. And I feel like the Hunger Games did that.
Okay. Now, from the actual, you know, people's opinions that matter on the subject, um, I cannot stand Katniss Everdeen at all. Um, I've now seen all the Hunger Games thanks to my girlfriend dragging me out to see them, which I'm sure a lot of guys will lament being dragged out to multiple movies, not ever wanting to see them. But those poor bastards that had to sit at the midnight showing of 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh.
But I just could not stand her character. Like she didn't belong there. Period. She wasn't a strong character. She was just like uh she was persistent in the idea that she didn't die at any given point, which is not really a strong point to say for a character. Like she wanted to quit pretty much every single length of the way. She's like, I don't want to do this anymore, but she was, lassoed into it. She was essentially the rodeo cow that the government had to ride in order to get change done.
Yeah, but
And,
yeah.
she was willing to be that. And I just couldn't stand her at all. The whole like love triangle thing between her and um enchilada or quesadilla or
PETA.
Peta,
Yeah.
that guy. Um, I couldn't stand that whole thing going on, like the whole thing with her family and the way they ended the movie series. Like
Oh,
at the
spoiler.
very end of that series, yeah, spoiler alert for anybody that even gives, two flying arrows. But um, I did not like the way that it came full circle without actually accomplishing anything. Nothing was accomplished in that movie series.
They kind of liberated themselves from the whole dictatorship of the capital.
Which would be an accomplishment. Under normal circumstances, you could say that that meant that they accomplished something. However, before they go into the complete resolution and they roll credits and everything like that, they make it a point to suggest that this has all happened before, but just like anything else, like democracy will die down, a new tyrant will rise, and they'll have to go through this vicious cycle all over again. That was the point of that dude's letter to her. Um, so it was actually kind of a downer that, okay, yeah, we won this victory, but we're going to have to win another victory down the road. So if anything else, we just bought ourselves some quiet time in the big boy corner, and we got ourselves an extra meal out of the day. Like that's not the message you want to send to people. Be like, yeah, we did it. We spent 5 or however many movies accomplishing this great task, only to have that nihilistic philosophy that shit. We're just gonna end up doing this again.
All right, so I mean, here's my thing. And I don't want to spend too much time on this. But as far as Katniss is concerned, the way I see it is she wasn't exactly meant to be the strong female lead. I may have said that already, and I'm an idiot because now I'm just eating my own words. But when you were saying that, when you were saying that, it made me think. Um, she was kind of just, your everyday normal peasant trying to make it in the world that she was given, and just really trying to protect her family in the long run and everything like that. And I think she did a good job filling the role of someone that's not important, even though she is important, but she doesn't know it yet. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Her reputation that was given to her was way more important than the actual blood flowing through her heart.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
See,
that's
that's not my style of character.
yeah. Well, I mean, to each his own, right? Lord of the Rings still sucks.
To each his own.
So back to Comic Con. uh, here was
Not
one
even gonna ask me about mine.
not only because I'm not finished yet. Um, one other thing that I kind of enjoyed to come out of, I guess it came out of Comic Con. I don't know, but it was announced around the same time. I enjoyed it, but I would by no means call it my favorite. I would call it my favorite if I haven't been done wrong in the past by it. And the it that I'm
Oh boy.
speaking of is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh boy. Yeah.
The new game that they have announced, I forget the name of it already, and that's probably for the best because I'm sure I'll be wanting to forget it when it comes out. At least that's the attitude.
Sonic Generations, and you're welcome.
Yeah, Generations was, yep, that's exactly what that was. I played Generations and I was like, oh boy, a new Sonic game, and they're bringing the old Sonic back, and blah blah blah. Nope, didn't care. Um, but they're trying again, and they it looks promising. But I've been promised things by Sega before. And let's just say Sega certainly does what Nintendo don't, and that's lose money.
Yeah, no, that's actually pretty accurate. Um, yeah, I find it ironic that in order for a company to move forward on a franchise, they have to go back to what made it popular in the first place. And unfortunately, what made it popular was like 2 generations ago.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Why not, being that Nintendo and Sega are all buddy buddy now, the one thing I was kind of disappointed with is why not just use the same, maybe not so much the same engine, but a similar engine, and give us Sonic Maker. That's what we all want. Just do it. Just we gave us Mario Maker. We had a blast with it. Give us Sonic Maker. Why not? That would bring everyone back, in my opinion.
Um, yeah, I could see that working out. But I don't like that at least Mario, like when he got away from the 2D platforming, like he's going on to do many other things, man. That plumber has to have like 16 master's degrees by now with as much shit as he's gotten into. I mean, man, he went to the fucking moon. Um,
Yep.
but you have Sonic that hasn't been able to get away from just, being a mouse on a racetrack, essentially. Like, I mean, when the company that makes your games, when they're like, all right, what do we do with you? And somebody's like, I don't know, why don't we just turn him into a werewolf? And they think that's
Oh.
a great idea. You have problems with your creative team.
Hmm. Thanks to Legend of Zelda, right? Um. So
Same thing.
yeah, exactly the same thing. uh, one company that I would like to see return to its origins, not so much a company but a franchise, is I am still waiting for a good Metroid game. Like the the handheld ones, Fusion and Zero Mission, were fabulous. I loved them. They gave me the sense of Super Metroid all over again. Why are we still getting Metroid Primes? Well, at this point, why are we not getting any Metroid at all? But Metroid Prime to
Yeah,
me, yeah, I don't know. It
I
just didn't
love
work out
Prime.
for me. I hated Prime. It was just terrible.
Really. I mean, I know there were a lot of people that were, hating the idea that they're like, why did you turn my um well, I was gonna say Metroidvania, but that seems like a wrong like you don't want to use that classification for the originator. Um, but why do you have my 2D platforming game turn into a first person shooter? What's wrong with you? But it really wasn't. It was still a platformer. It was just done from the first person perspective, like to make you Samus. Like you still had puzzles to figure out. You still couldn't get into certain rooms without accessing some of your abilities. The only difference was that instead of looking at her from the side and watching her like teabag a platform on top of a Metroid, going, "Haha, you can't get me," you actually had to do it from first person view, in which case you didn't know the Metroid was actually right behind you the whole time, and then it attached itself to your face when you turned around. Um, but that was it, and it was a lot of fun. Like I enjoyed the crap out of the Metroid Prime games.
Nah, I didn't get that from them at all. For me, I played the first one and I was just like, do I even want to finish this game? Like it just to me, okay, so Super Metroid, when I played that game, uh it was every weekend I would beg to go and visit my uncle who would be just as much into the Super Metroid game as my brother and I. So we went over there. We would bring our Super Metroid cartridge and our Super Nintendo, and we'd be like, "Hey, let's make it further." We did not play it until we went there, so we can all experience it as a group together. Like, what's going to happen next? Who's manning the controller this time? Wow, check out these graphics on the 16-bit engine. How unreal! Like, it's insane how much we've come. Anyway, it was
All
kind
right,
of fun.
gotcha.
It was a bit of exploration. Every turn there was just something new to discover and everything like that, and it was just all kind of fun. It all came together. There was a story that didn't have to be told. You just pretty much it unfolded in front of you. Um, we don't get another Metroid game until GameCube, and that's Metroid Prime, and I'm super stoked for it because I was expecting one for Nintendo 64. It never happened. Super disappointed. GameCube gets Metroid Prime. I go get a GameCube to play Metroid Prime. I play Metroid Prime, and the first thing I realize is it's a first person shooter. I'm not disappointed. I'm like, okay, it's evolving with the times. Cool. I can get down with that. I love me some GoldenEye. I can enjoy this too. Doom was great. So I'm playing it, and as I'm playing it, it's just, I'm trying to get a feel of the game and everything, but it just didn't have that same sense of exploration and discovery that Super Metroid had for me. And at first, I'm thinking maybe I grew out of this phase. Maybe it's because I didn't enjoy it with other people like I did once before. So I just kind of put it down and was like, maybe I can revisit this another time, and I'll try it again then. Um, and since then, Metroid Fusion came out for Game Boy Advance, and Metroid Zero Mission came out for Game Boy Advance. I loved those games, and I was like, this is the Metroid game I wanted. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Granted, the graphics are pretty much the same. They might be, rendered a little differently, but they're pretty much the same. I'm fine with that. To me, graphics mean shit. If the gameplay is fun, the gameplay is fun, and that's exactly what this was. It was fun gameplay. Now, that being said, Fusion had a little bit more dialogue than I wanted in my Metroid game. uh, which I didn't appreciate too much.
Strong silent type is what Lyle likes.
With Metroid, yes, because that's the Samus I've always known, and that's the Samus I've always enjoyed. But there were still those moments of feeling weak, and then moments of feeling like you're right there, but you just have to overcome this last obstacle. For example, spoiler alert, I think it was Zero Mission that had us go, and it may have been Fusion. I don't remember. One of the two games you get you escape the planet once it explodes, and then you go to uh, escape the planet in your ship, and there is space pirates that take you down or whatever. I'm explaining this very
Mhm.
yeah, I understand. Um, but anyway, so the space pirates take you down, and they make you come aboard their ship, I think. So you're running around on their
uh,
ship, and you have no armor, you have no weapons, you have nothing, and you just feel powerless. And then all of a sudden, you come across the power bomb, and you see that it's like being carried away and heavily guarded and everything. It's just like that's what the fuck I need. I remember that thing for Super Metroid. If I get my hands on that, I can win this game. Like, and it's just every little obstacle you have to overcome to get to that feeling, and it's just like you're right there. It's right in front of you. You just have to get to it. You finally get to it. You go through a couple boss battles. Everything comes to a conclusion. It was very nice. So that's
wow, that's that game in a nutshell. Yeah.
that's what Prime didn't give me. Like I don't know. Like for me, Prime it was just like, where's the part where I get trapped into this other part of the planet that I can't get out until I find a way that these floating turtles with rocket packs can somehow help me in platforming back to the top where I need to be. This happened in Super Metroid. You were dropped down this very long hole, and along this drop, you were getting hit with turtles with jetpacks on them. And it was very confusing at the time, but it was like that must mean something. So sure enough, you go through this area of the planet, you find the ice beam, you go, I can freeze things with this. When I freeze them, I can jump on top of them. That's what the turtles are for. So you go back to the turtles, you freeze them, you jump on top of them, you do it all the way, get to the top, and then you realize there's another area where if you shoot something and jump on top of it, now you can access a whole nother area. That was what I enjoyed about it, and I didn't get that sense in Metroid Prime.
The sad part is I did get that sense in Metroid Prime because there were still the floating turtles in Metroid Prime.
Absolutely.
Um,
There was all that stuff, but to me, I think it was because you could technically see everything. In Super Metroid, there were certain parts of the map that were not revealed to you until you unlocked those parts of the map. So, for example, that enemy way back that you had access to all along, you never knew that if you froze him and jumped on him, he would access something even higher because there was no way you could see above him. So it was still just an enemy in the background, as far as you knew. Where if you come back to it and then freeze him and jump on top of him, holy shit, there's a whole other area for me to explore up here. In Metroid Prime, you come across that area, you look up, and you see this enemy in a whole other area to explore, and you think to yourself, I just gotta get the freeze gun and come back to that guy. So it's just, yeah, it just seemed too simplified for me. Like I don't think, uh, you know, 3D exploration is the way to go with a Metroid game.
eh, I'll agree to disagree. I really did enjoy the crap out of the 3D exploration thing because it kind of gave you that the sense of a real living world. Like with the side scrolling platformer, like it's a room with a couple pads you can jump on, and you kind of do that whole thing. But from a 3D aspect of things, like you invented a world. Like there is a world to actually go through, and you kind of feel like the coolest person in the world when you find that little tube that you can fit into when you're a ball, and then you're trying to see at what point at where at on the map that kind of dumps out to, and then oh, now I'm in a lava flow underneath this temple area. Well, where does the lava flow go? And you go into like this temple backyard area where there's like more turtles that are flying for some ungodly reason. Like I really want to know what they're giving the turtles in the Metroid universe to make them fly, but whatever. Um, I don't know. I really did like the 3D thing, and especially because like even though they gave you a mini map, you kind of had to remember a lot of your route because it was a world. Like you kind of got landmarks and stuff like that. You're like, okay, wait, I remember this room. I'm gonna go through this room. I'm gonna jump up here. I need to go to this door, and then that'll dump me out this way. So like there was a little bit of that like real time trying to like navigate the landscape as well as picking up on the like, where little hidden gems are and items and pickups and enemies and plus you had to scan the enemies and the environment to get information because like it didn't tell you how to beat any of them. You had
So,
to use your little visor and be like, hmm?
not to cut you off, I'm sure you're going to go into some great elaborate detail about how great the scan was. That was my biggest fucking problem with Metroid Prime was the goddamn scanning function. And here's why. It's the same reason it's the same reason why A Link to the Past to me will always be the best fucking Zelda game because Ocarina of Time, in my opinion, was garbage. I could not stand that game. The reason I didn't like that game is because again, Zelda doesn't belong in a 3D plat. I shouldn't say that. Wind Waker was the shit, but Ocarina of Time just didn't do it for me. And for me, I think it was because the waiting. Everything you had to do was a wait. Oh, look, a chest. I'm going to go through this whole animation where Link kicks it open, looks inside of it, swoops down his arm, and then holds up a rupee in the sky. And you just got 5 rupees. And now you can finally hit the A button and progress through the game. It's like in Link to the Past, you cut a motherfucker in his chin, and all of a sudden he drops 5 rupees, and you just pick it up like, hey, whatever. You don't even see an animation of him putting it into his pouch. It automatically goes in there. That is satisfaction. I don't need a 5 minute cutscene showing me that I just made 5 pennies. No, just let me go through the game. Don't make me wait. Oh look, a puzzle came along. Okay, I see eyeballs on the walls there, and I just got this slingshot. I bet you, and sure enough, you shoot the eyeballs with the slingshot, the door opens, or a monster drops down, which is also very much deserving of a cutscene in and of itself. So you kill the monster, another cutscene takes place. Da-na-na-na. Hey, look, bars are coming up from the doors. Now all the doors are unlocked. Now we have to focus in on Link and Navi looking at him, and then we can go through the door. Yay, next room. Let's do it again. Another 30 minutes in this room. Like, I feel so badly for speedrunners. If I would at least. I've seen speedruns of Ocarina of Time. They're not very long. It's fascinating. But for someone just
Right.
trying to get through the game quickly without using any kind of crazy speedrunning strats, I feel badly for you because you're literally just going through an interactive movie because of all the damn cutscenes. Drives me crazy.
So, so
For
specifically
that,
from this conversation, I can glean that you are not a Metal Gear fan.
oh, on the contrary, I loved Metal Gear.
How the hell can you complain about cutscenes and then, tell me that you love a game that's just a cutscene?
Because they belong in Metal Gear. They don't belong in opening a treasure chest. If a cutscene is involving of plot and storytelling and further developing the plot, like hey, this girl actually was in love with you, or this guy died because this guy tried saving you, shit like that. By all means, throw cutscenes at me. But if it's just a cutscene to show me that I just made 5 pennies for kicking a bucket, no, I don't want that. It's similar with Metroid Prime.
Fair.
Metroid Prime was just like, in order to progress through this room, you have to scan everything in the room. Maybe we could find some sort of clue. And it gives you like 5 different things to scan. Like, look, I'm going to scan these 5 things. Can't you just let me hit a button instead? Like, why are you making me jump through hoops? That's what I felt like with Metroid Prime. Like they were forcing you to jump through hoops in order to get places. The hoops were
Although
there.
that would be a fun.
Got it.
Uh, no, that would be a fun video game. Imagine this. Imagine you press start to play a game. You pick your character. You go through all this like rigorous character customization. They drop you through the first level. You kill one guy, and then it goes, yeah, we know you were going to beat this game eventually, so here's the end credits, and then that's it.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone will love that.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So anyway, so Sonic, I hope is not disappointing.
yeah. I guess that's the takeaway from all of that. God, again, man, we have these like Mobius rants.
So by all means,
I just get so lost when I come back to them.
what was your favorite from San Diego Comic Con?
Wow, I don't even know anymore. What is what is life?
Um,
um,
just real quick.
honestly,
if I can cut you off for 2 seconds here, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but this has to be mentioned because for those of you who don't know at home listening or at work, wherever you are listening, thank you for listening, by the way. Very much appreciated. Anyway,
Yeah, thank you very much.
me and Andy just like to talk bullshit anyway, and so this is just something that we happen to record for your listening pleasure. Anyway, uh, Andy, for some reason, insists on using his video recording device for Skype. So I actually get a video reaction of what Andy is doing as he's saying these things. Uh, right now, he's wearing an orange shirt, looks orange, and there's a little image on the left breast pocket of it that says, "My name is," and then written in there with Sharpie, "I don't do costumes." Hilarious, especially considering the fact that we were just talking about cosplay. The only reason I bring up what he's wearing, because it actually fits in. But what's interesting is
Yeah.
the camera auto zooms in and out and moves around and follows Andy. And just at that moment, when he paused and said, "What is life?" the camera zoomed way in on his face, and he was just like, "Oh, what is life?" And it was beautiful. I just had to share it. I had to share it. Okay.
what what is life? um, wow. Honestly, Doctor Strange. I think that was my favorite thing.
Oh, that was killer. Here's why it wasn't my favorite though. The reason it wasn't my favorite, the Netflix series really did it for me. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Um, I almost feel like no matter what the trailer presents itself with, and give me the fanboy speech all you want, that's fine. I don't care. 100% I agree with it. Marvel Studios can do no wrong right now. Doesn't matter what the trailer looks like. I'm still going to go see the movie, and I'm still going to enjoy the movie because they're 100% accurate so far with that. So the trailer itself,
Yeah.
the trailer itself to me, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but I did feel like I was rewatching the trailer for Inception with a wizard in it. Like that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, it was like very Matrix meets Inception kind of
Yeah, yeah,
thing going on. Um, which that's the kind of the angle that they want to go with Doctor Strange anyway, because I mean, you don't want the corny like 80s mystical dimension stuff going on where it's just like I'd imagine that Doc Strange kind of just sounds like a crazy homeless man when he's talking about there are things behind reality, and then you're like, dude, just whatever you're smoking, I want some and go away. Um, but at least this way, it's the most, visual way of showing you that, this is what reality looks like to somebody who dabbles in the mystical arts, because up to this point in the MCU, there has been no magic. Like the
yeah,
closest thing we got to magic was Thor, and they were very quick to dismiss it as not being, magic. It's just no, when they were like, what you call magic, we call science.
yep.
So it's like, okay, well, if they're not going to make Asgard magical, then what the hell? How does the rest of the Marvel universe fit in? So that's why I was kind of eager to see what they do with Doc Strange, is to be like, all right, well, he is a full-fledged magic person. They can't just go have science explain away this crap. Um, so let's see what they do with it. And I kind of like the direction where everything is kind of like a dreamscape, and he's navigating it and protecting the people within our perception of it. But at the same token, I kind of want to know if you're going to get motion sickness from any of the action sequences that are going to go on in this damn movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have like a puke bag, given to me when I sit down and pay for my movie ticket, because I mean, sure, it'll make for a nice meal later on, but I don't want the responsibility of having to save that in the fridge.
Oh God.
Um, yeah. Ugh. Um, but yeah, beyond that, like I'm eager to see what they do with it. I like the costume. I like the characters. I don't care that the Ancient One is not Asian, like most other fanboys
Uh,
who swear to God have probably never even read a damn Doctor Strange book, but are just jumping on the bandwagon of probably heard somebody else complain that the Ancient One wasn't Asian, and they're like, well, who the hell's the Ancient One? And they'll look at like one wiki page and be like, that totally shouldn't be a white chick, whatever.
yeah. Agreed. One thing that I did take from what you were just saying though that I kind of find interesting is they did dismiss it in Thor as being magic and just said, "Hey, it's science to us, whatever." Uh, it kind of feeds into the idea of Asgard sees itself as itself. Maybe, to me at least, Thor and the Asgardians have lived that life their entire life. So when someone says that's magic, no, this is just science. But Doctor Strange, on the other hand, who has not seen that life at all and is just being introduced to it, is like, this is fucking magic. And he can fully
Right.
embrace the concept that it's magic. So I actually give him points for doing that because it really introduces us along with Doctor Strange into the realm that they know as magic. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so I did like Doctor Strange trailer and everything like that. It does look interesting. Like I said, they can't go wrong with that. But why don't we take a little step away from the whole San Diego Comic Con thing? Otherwise, we could just go on about this for hours. I know. But with time
Fair, yeah.
essence, I would like to get into my favorite segment, your favorite segment, the
I
segment
do
that
enjoy
has
this actually.
the segment that has no name. Basically, folks.
I'm pretty sure if anybody has any suggestions, though, please feel free to send them in. I'll
Yeah,
listen to anything.
absolutely. Basically, and tell you what, anyone who has any suggestions for the segment name or simply wants to help out the cause of Side Splitters, shoot me an email at lasidesplitters@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. Let us know what you think. If you just want to say what's up, whatever. We also have a Facebook account now, facebook.com/the Side Splitters. That's THE Side Splitters. So if you want to come there, like the page, tell us what you think of the episode so far. We also, upload the episodes there as well. So if you can't find us on Podbean that week for whatever reason, you can come there and look for us, and we'll have the link posted for you. Possibly a Twitter account in the making. I don't know yet. We're gonna see how that goes. Maybe.
Hell's Twitter.
Yeah, I know. For those who don't know, most of the time I'll be handling the social media. You know what? I'm going to peel the curtain back a little bit here. My esteemed co-host here, Andy. Last week I put up episode 1, and I said, "Hey, Andy." I shoot him a text, and I was basically just saying, "Hey, episode 1 is up. By the way, I went ahead and made us a Facebook account, which you should like. This way, I can make you the admin of it, and you can interact with people on the Facebook account and all that." I told him to do that. I told him to listen to the episode, tell me what he thought of the editing and all that. Yes, there is editing. I know, blasphemy. Why don't you just give us a natural thing? Because we're trying to be professional with this. That's why. Deal with it. Anyway, but please listen. But so yeah, we are essentially, you know, starting everything off last week, and I shoot Andy the text message. Hey, you should listen to things. You should check this out. You should check that out. Not only do I not get a response from him, but a week goes by, and not only did Andy not listen to the podcast, not only did he not sign up for Facebook or excuse me, he has a Facebook account, but he didn't like the page. He didn't do anything I asked him to do. He didn't, reply. He didn't do anything, and it was just like,
Yeah.
all right, that's cool. So, needless to say, what I'm getting at here, folks, is I will probably be managing most of the social media aspects of this podcast. Maybe Andy will sometime down the road, but for now.
Yeah, no, it has been a crazy week, and I'm not going to go into explanation. It's just, I saved the world, so you're welcome. Have some little sensitivity for the actions that I do behind the scenes.
Which are? Oh, right. You watch San Diego Comic Con stuff and had stuff to talk about. Good job, Andy.
Plus a lot of masturbation and porn. So, I mean, that takes work and effort.
Yeah, it certainly does. You burn calories and such, and good for you, Andy.
Oh, man. Did I ever? I'll be better. Just, I'm not setting a very big bar to surpass, but I'll be better.
Did you ever make it past the illustrious, what was it, 8 in one day?
Ooh, no. That is a lofty goal at this point in my life.
How
I
many
mean,
was it?
I like to still think that I'm young to some extent, but yeah, I don't think my attention span is able to get me there anymore.
How many was it in one day again?
No, it was 6.
Ah, the illustrious 6.
Um,
Better. I like that name.
yeah, yeah, Seven is the lucky and lofty goal, and I cannot bring myself to do it.
For
I
those that are
can't.
not following, we are, of course, referring to the amount of times Andy has once masturbated in a single day. And six is the magical number so far, but, I have high hopes no matter how old he looks. So,
Well, I'm glad you have faith in me.
I do. So, let's get into the segment, the unnamed segment, of course. Uh,
The unnamed.
I have three stories for you here, Andy, to explain to people that have not listened last week. Uh, I get three stories for Andy. Sometimes it's four, sometimes it's two, whatever. It's just stories, current events that have happened within the past week or two, that are a little bit on the weird side, and we like to try to turn it into a game. I'll give Andy the headline, and he'll see if he can guess where it took place at, something along those lines. That's probably what we're going to end up being today. There is, however, one story that does not have a location. So I'm going to ask a different question, and you'll see what I mean when we get there, and we'll see if you can figure out what it is when we get there. So
Oh,
we're
oh
not
boy. All right.
we're not going to start with that story. Instead, we're going to start with this story right here. Uh, a man sues his ex-girlfriend for money that he spent on her in the relationship.
Okay.
Where did this take place, Andy?
Well, Earth. Honestly, if I could get away with getting a lot of the money back that I invested in a dead cow, I'd be happy too. But shit. This seems like the only story that could take place on the West Coast, so I'm going to say California.
It's not in the United States.
Oh, sad. Wait, hold on. Maybe we are going to go with Australia?
No, it's not Australia. It actually took place in Russia.
Russia?
Yes. It
Wow. All right.
Russian man sues ex-girlfriend for money he spent on her in relationship. Basically, a Russian man who tried to get compensation for love's labors lost has been left empty-handed after a court rejected a suit to get back the money he spent on his ex-girlfriend. Nikolai Zayablikov. Yeah.
Cheskov.
Huh?
Cheskov.
Yeah. Had asked the court in the city of I don't even know, some Russian city, to make his former partner Nina some Russian,
Some Russians.
to make his former partner Nina some Russian last name, uh, pay him back 40,000 some Russian currency, which is $607 in United States currency.
uh, Rupees or something? I don't know.
Rubles, I think it's rubles. Anyway,
Turnips.
the man was apparently a lawyer, and said that he and his ex had dated for just a short time and were just friends when they went on a beach trip to Crimea, the peninsula annexed by Russia in early 2014 last year. She refused to pay for her part of the vacation when they returned to Siberia, he said. The woman was, however, shocked by the suggestion that they were not in a relationship and said that they had dated for 4 years. That, to me, is just like, how did he not win?
Yeah, I mean, he's a lawyer bringing this up, so I mean, obviously they don't make good lawyers in Russia. Um, but the idea that oh, I'm taking this beautiful woman on a vacation, and when I get back, I'm going to be bored with her because I have hit it, and now it is time to quit it, and I need some of that money back. Like, that's not how the game works. Like, he may know law, but he doesn't know women. Like, that is not
Clearly.
how you treat a relationship that you want of that quality. Like, if you just want a woman for her body and her time, some arm candy that isn't just spilled chocolate, then these are the breaks that you're gonna have to take. Like, you take her on a trip, you do whatever you're gonna do with her. Hopefully something with shrink wrap and feathers, and you spend your money and you move on with your life. Like, why try to get it out of her? Now you're bringing it into the limelight. You're going to embarrass her. You're going to embarrass yourself because you essentially wasted $40,000 on a Russian call girl, which I guess is better than a mail order bride in the long run. And you just suck up the loss and you keep going. He's a lawyer. He'll make that money back in no time.
Not a very good one, though.
Again, not a very good one, but he had that much money to spend on her in the first place. So, I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that he can scrounge up enough money to get Arm Candy Part Two.
Apparently, it seems I think I realized where he went wrong. What followed was a low stakes legal battle beginning last fall, with the man bringing in receipts for not only major purchases, but small purchases such as coffee. If you're trying to get your money back for buying the woman a cup of coffee, you're screwing up. Like, look, you had me at,
Yeah,
she should pay her half because we weren't technically dating at this point, and I'm kind of pissed that she doesn't. You know, that's enough to ruin a friendship. Much more a woman that thinks you were dating even though you weren't. But when you start asking for $1 or two back for every cup of coffee you bought her, now you're taking it too far. And you know what? You probably deserve not to get any money. You're just a dickhead.
I mean, she had to do something to him, and I'm throwing it out there, but she probably bit his dick off.
I'm
Like that is the only that is the only thing I can think of that she had to do to get him to start saving receipts for fucking coffee.
Here's what
Like
I'm thinking.
she
I'm
mm,
I'm thinking more along the lines of like he revealed to her a secret fetish of his, and she indulged the first time, and he thought she was into it. So next thing you know, he's taking her on vacations and stuff like that. And on a vacation, she was just like, "I gotta tell you, I don't ever want to do that again." And it's kind of weird that you do it. And he was just like, "Well, this bitch needs to go, and I might as well get all my money back because she's going to reveal my secret and make it very difficult for me to date again." It was probably something along the lines of like, I don't even know. Like he liked to have like, Andy, this is more your realm. What's the weird fetish he had?
age regression. He probably put on a diaper, and a bonnet, and a pacifier, and he wanted to be burped, and she was like, okay, come here, little baby, let me burp, little baby. You had lots of vodka today. Oh, that's nice, little baby. And then he took it all in, and then she was like, no, no, diaper was weird. I'm not doing that shit again. And he's probably gonna charge her for the Pampers he bought too.
Which was probably part of the small expenses, such as a cup of coffee. Uh, I just want to throw this out there. Your Russian voice much better than your Australian voice.
Th Thank you.
No problem. Let's move on.
Yeah. Next.
So this story, again, guess the location. I'll tell you this much that it actually was in the States. Uh,
Okay.
bank robbery suspect throws feces at deputies. He came out of the restroom covered in feces and began to throw the feces at the cops after trying to rob a bank. Where did this take place?
The South. Um. Hmm. That's the first thing I thought of right out of the gate. Somebody's throwing shit. It had to have been the South. The question is where in the South? I am gonna go with Arkansas.
No, it was Florida yet again.
Well, I was right about the South.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Whenever trying to question where some sort of bizarre story came from, and it's so bizarre that you're just like, oh, that's got to be the South. Most of the time, it's Florida. there's some weird people in Florida. Um,
Yeah, yeah, there are.
yeah. So a man in Fort Myers, Florida, a man accused of robbing a bank in Southwest Florida, covered himself in feces and threw it at deputies, according to the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Dravian Hampleton, 25, was arrested Tuesday after deputies said he robbed the bank. While at the Lee County Sheriff's Office, Hambleton asked to use the restroom. Oh, so he was actually in the police station. According to the arrest report, deputies said he later emerged from the restroom covered in his own feces and threw it at them. According to the report, Hambleton tried to kick and pull away from the deputies while he was being escorted into the back of a patrol car. Deputies said that Hambleton also refused to identify himself, only giving a last name of Wells and no date of birth. Hamilton was arrested on charges of armed robbery, battery on a law enforcement officer, and resisting arrest with violence. Uh, See, they they,
Wow.
they they got that wrong. It shouldn't have been battery on a law enforcement officer. It should have been battering on a law enforcement officer. Battery.
Ah, yeah, yeah, cute. Um, assault with a stinky weapon. Um, but I don't see. I mean, I appreciate the kudos for the amount of spite that it takes a human being to think to himself, well, I've been caught. I guess the only thing now to do is throw my shit at them. Um, like, I could see as a preventative measure before you get arrested, like if you're in the act of bank robbing and you wanted to like coat yourself in shit to the point that if you're going to be violent enough that they have to tackle you to the ground to get handcuffs on you and everything like that, they're going to be wrist deep in your butt chocolate, and that's absolutely fine if you want to be like, aha, you'll never take me away clean, coppers, like one of those deals. Um, oh man, especially if you load up on like the payday bars.
Oh
I
god.
mean, how ironic would that be? So you load up on a diet of payday bars to go rob a bank and then coat yourself in armored shit before the
Comprised
officers try to take you down.
comprised of digestive paydays, of course.
Course,
That's
of
funny.
course. You would have to give yourself some time to digest the paydays. But, the irony that you're having paydays while
Yeah.
robbing a bank to
Yeah,
give
yeah.
you to give you the gold. Um and
Uh,
like what do you do with a guy at that point? So he's sitting in his cell covered in shit. You have the officers that had to wrestle him to the ground to put him in his cell. They're covered in shit. Um, and then you have the people that are in the cell with him that are trying to keep a fair amount of distance because they have this guy sitting there hog-tied, covered in his own shit.
I mean, you have to think there's some sort of like legal thing that says, once a guy's covered in shit, either A, you clean him up first, or B, you don't put him with others.
I mean, or like, he's at this point displayed enough to maybe question his sanity. So at the very least, you might want to just give him like, like a psych evaluation or like send him
Right,
somewhere else instead of
right.
like keeping him there.
Even just stamp him with the doesn't
Um,
play well with others tag and move along.
yeah, like, I mean, you got to watch out for this one. He's he's a poop thrower. Yeah, I'll have to remember that the next time that I plan on robbing a bank.
Right, paydays, definitely.
Yeah, paydays.
All right, on to the last and final story. This one is the one that has no location. So basically, it says woman gets revenge on person who stole her coffee creamer at work. I'll even go as far as telling you that she replaced her typical coffee creamer container with something else. What was it?
Ooh, she replaced it with. It wasn't some sort of makeup, was it?
See, I can't answer those questions.
Hmm. Um, I'm gonna go with sour cream.
Why? Because it's a woman, it automatically can't be anything too far disgusting. So, with the sex and safety.
Well, I mean, anything else I would think would be fairly obvious. I mean, hell, even sour cream should be fairly obvious, but that'll definitely make a hell of a difference if you start, cutting your coffee with sour cream. Ugh.
No, and I'm very disappointed in you. 0 for 3 this week. Last week you went 2 for 3, which I was pretty impressed with. But either way, yeah, you can argue. This is what the article says. You can argue that she took her prank a little far. A woman frustrated with her coworker for using her coffee creamer without asking decided to take matters into her own hand. The mom, only identified as B, replaced Coffee Mate creamer with her own breast milk.
Oh, yeah. See, that should have been more fairly obvious. Why the hell did I think of breast milk?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm saying I'm a little disappointed in you. But
Ugh.
it says after allowing the coffee creamer bandit to drink the breast milk for a week, good lord, she finally left a note notifying them of her actions. The note read, "Good morning to whomever has been enjoying my coffee creamer all week. Surprise! You've been drinking my breast milk, and breast milk is all capitalized. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers, B. P.S. it's organic, so no worries. Oh, brilliant.
um, well, I have to applaud her for, um, probably literally taking matters in her own hands, depending on depending on how she lactated into said container. Um, but that doesn't actually like if I was the person that was stealing creamer, that wouldn't probably piss me off as much as it should. Um, Mainly because I'm a degenerate. But beyond that, um, it's still kind of dairy. And
Here's
who knows? It might have made the coffee better.
here's the fun part. Well, first of all, how did he not notice that it tasted different? So it kind of makes you wonder, like, is it that bad in coffee?
Well, no, probably wasn't even stealing a noticeable amount of creamer. Like,
Oh, fair
if you
enough.
don't notice the taste difference between breast milk and coffee creamer, then you're not putting a whole lot in your coffee to begin with.
Right, right. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, but here's the fun thing. You could kind of argue the point here that whether or not he got mad based on the appearance of said woman. Because I mean, if it's like some chick that, all the guys fawn over or whatever, it's just like, oh, we gotta have her. I don't think he's gonna be that upset. Like, yeah, I think I just made it closer to third base with her than anybody else has. So,
See, and that's the part that I don't get. Like, okay, so would you suck on a turd nugget if the woman behind it was a Playboy model versus a homeless person?
are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you.
Do I see? That's not a fair question though, because just by saying said woman is either a Playboy model or a homeless person, that's not enough of a description. And it's one hell of a trap you set up there, Andy. And I appreciate your ruse, but I'm not fond of it.
Wow. Wow. The point is that it doesn't matter what the person looks like. A turd is a turd. Like you don't you don't want to have any byproduct of a person regardless of what their physical appearance is. Like I don't know. Like I've never been to the point where I could be like, "Oh man, that woman is so gorgeous. I wish she would like blow a snot rocket down my throat." Like that's gross. I mean, at least with breast milk, like that is nourishment. There is a part of your body that produces nourishment for another part of somebody else's body, like namely babies, but still, you know, it's something that is meant to be eaten at some point, just not by strangers or coworkers.
Yeah, that's well, to each his own.
Yeah, to each his own. No, thank you. I will not be having any of, you know, Jennifer Lawrence's salty leavings
No,
anytime soon.
no, not Jennifer Lawrence's salty leavings. Now, if it was Rihanna on the other hand,
Oh man.
yep,
Uh, I would.
yeah,
God, I would.
absolutely. And I'm not even saying what
Uh,
kind of salty leavings they are. Just yeah, I would.
oh, it could be salt, it could be sugar, it could be sulfur. As long as it came out of some part of her, I'd be happy. Oh,
So-
I won't give you a black eye, Rihanna, as long as you show me your brown one.
oh, that's good. Uh, so yeah, that's enough of that. um, I think we've been going for a good amount though. So that wraps up the segment for certain. And like I said, we certainly would appreciate any kind of ideas. Just saying, hey, you know what? I think this would be a cool name for the segment. There's no guarantee that it'll be used, but it might be. We might already come up with one by the time you give us one, but yours might be better, and we'll steal it and say that it was our idea. No, seriously. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
by all means.
No. Um, yeah, there's no guarantee that any of our ideas are actually, good. So we'll
have you
welcome any kind of input that we can.
have you listened to the 2 episodes already? I mean, come on. None of our ideas are good.
No, I've been there for both and I haven't listened to them.
Fair. So, but yeah, like I said before, we have the Facebook page. Check us out on there, facebook.com/the Side Splitters, and email us at lasidesplitters or lasidesplitters@gmail.com. Aside from that, the website, if for some god awful reason you're listening to this and still don't know the website, don't know how you're listening to it, but regardless, the website is
Bootleg pirates.
sidesplitters.podbean, sidesplitters.podbean, as in like green bean.com. And yeah, you can check us out there. We'll have all the episodes up. Right now, there's obviously only one. When this is released, there will be two. There you are. That's the whole kit and caboodle. But that's
I love kittens and their caboodles.
right. But that is probably going to do it for us here. I am content with what we have. You have anything more to say, Andy?
Um, Other than if you commit crimes, please make sure that you've had plenty of peanuts in your diet, and you know, bitches be tripping, so don't expect your money back when shit goes south.
Oh, speaking of, we need a name for this episode. And last week we decided to come up with a name on the episode itself. We recorded it, the thought process of it, and everything. And I kind of like that idea. So, what do you think of a decent name this week?
Wow, we spent a lot of time talking about nerd-related stuff.
We've spent all of the time talking about nerd-related stuff.
Yeah, no, you got me there. The Misadventures of Topic Man. I don't know.
How about feminism payday?
Your mom cosplays.
Not feminism payday. This is.
Nerd out with your turd out.
I kind of like that one.
Because that's all it was superheroes and poop. Like, that was the most of this conversation.
Yeah, that's gonna be it. Nerd out, which turned out. So that will do it for this week's edition of the Side Splitters. Nerd out with your turd out. I'm Lyle.
I'm Andy.
We will see you next week, folks.
Latest.